Yartzeit is also on Shabbos. How many years did he live?
54.
54, right, you are. The Rebbe speaks about this all the time. Very few people have such a merit, even none of the Rebbeim, except himself, that they leave the world on the day that they came in. Big. And the Rebbe says this is a Moshe Rabbeinu was born on the day that I think all the Avos, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov.
We were talking about it in Sichos.
Also, because it's a sign that every day was perfect. And the perfection of each day is reflected in the perfection of the year. A perfect day, you get a perfect week. A perfect week, you get a perfect month. Perfect month, you get a perfect year. Very few people manage that. Every day is complete. It says about Avraham Avinu, he came, Avraham, he was old. He came with all his days. In other words, every day he fulfilled what had to be done on that day. Wasn't missing a single day. Every day is like a garment. It's a garments that we take with us and we have for the world to come. For some people come to the world to come in rags. They don't have garments. Mitzvahs are garments. So the Middle Rebbe, his days were complete. In the end, he was very, very weak. The doctor said he could not see people because it would take too much energy out of him. It was dangerous. And he could not say words. He couldn't teach Hasidus because it would take too much energy. And then finally, they saw they couldn't do anything for him. So they said, nothing helps. So let him say Hasidus anyway. So they did. They let him, and he started to say, bring people in, let him have Yechidus with people, give them blessings. He started to say a mimer, then there was an interruption, more people came in, more blessings. He gave more blessings. Then he continued with the mimer. When they told him that he was allowed to say Hasidus, all of a sudden he became very strong. He was filled with energy and life. And he continued like this through the night. And finally, in the middle of the mimer, he passed away. And the last word he said was Chaim, life. The last word he said. And that's similar to exactly what happened to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who also passed away, presumably on the same day as he was born. And he was also in the middle of saying a mimer. And the last word that he said was also Chaim. And his son-in-law was a Tzemach Tzedek. Rabbi Menachem Mendel, the Tzemach Tzedek, was married to the daughter of the Mittler Rebbe. And he was there and he exclaimed with excitement, something like this has not happened since the time of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Okay. So we're meditating now on the greatness of Hashem. There are 3 stages. Stage 1 we spoke about yesterday. When you think, good morning, Batya Shosha.
Good morning.
A person will think about all the things that he or she is aware of. You come to yeshiva in the morning, you look up. Oh, I left my phone downstairs. Saw some beautiful things this morning with the sun shining on the trees, bright orange at the tops. When a person will think of all the things in the world that he or she is aware of, and how Hashem is filling them all with life, it fills a person with a sense of awe, A-W-E, awe, at the greatness of Hashem. That means wow. That's step one. Step two, after that, is to realize that all this, that Hashem fills the whole world with life, is not Him. You hear me? That Hashem fills the whole world with life, that's still not Hashem. There are names for this. Step one, the name for step one is Mamale Kol Almin. That's sort of Hebrew, Aramaic. Mamale means to fill. Kol means everything. Almin means worlds. Hashem fills all the worlds with life. That's a revelation of godliness. It's called Mamale Kol Almin. That's what everybody lives with. That Hashem is Mamale Kol Almin. Hashem fills the world with life. The second stage is called Soivev Kol Almin. Soivev means it's not contained. Soivev means it's surrounding. Surrounding, usually we want to think of something as surrounding, like here, you've got this, whatever it is here, this case, and I'm going to surround it with a tissue. Okay. So the tissue is surrounding the case. The case is within the tissue. And the case contains the tissue. But that's not the idea of surround. That's surrounding from the outside. What about the inside? The inside remains the inside. When we're talking about Mamale Kol Almin, about Soivev, let's say Soivev Kol Almin, it surrounds everything. It means that there is no inside. There's a level of life that doesn't have a beginning, it doesn't have an end, it doesn't have an up, it doesn't have a down, it doesn't have right, it doesn't have left. There's no inside, there's no outside. There's only Soivev Kol Almin. So that it surrounds everything, like, let's say you have a substance that's highly absorbent, and in your hand, it looks like a defined substance. It's so many inches tall and so many inches wide, and it weighs so much and so much. And now you put it in water, and it absorbs the water so totally that it becomes one thing with the water. So it's not being it's not outside the water anymore. It becomes one thing with the water. So Soivev Kol Almin is this, that everything becomes totally unified with it, and there's no beginning and there's no end of where what the thing is. There's only Soivev Kol Almin. There's only the life of Hashem. That's all there is. So when a person thinks about the greatness of Hashem, first we have to look up in the sky and see how great the sky is. And what a wonderful day it is, and how beautiful the color of the sky is, and the beautiful color on the leaves of the trees, and what a gorgeous morning it is, and how nice it is. It didn't snow, it's cold, it's not too cold. All the details of the world that we can appreciate. And then stage two, there's nothing to appreciate. There's nothing, there's only the life itself. I remember when I first came here, I came across these terms in the Tanya, And I asked my friends who were in the yeshiva, who can explain this to me? So they said, Rabbi, speak to Rabbi Charatonov. He's learned a lot. So I went and I spoke to him. I said, what are these two different terms? He said, each one has a message. The message of Mamalik Kol Almin is that Hashem fills the world with life. You hear me, Chaya? You with me? Hashem fills everything in the world with his life. And the sages say in the Talmud, like your soul fills your body, gives life to everything in your body. That's Mamalik Kol Almin. That's the message. The message is Hashem fills everything with life. Then you have the second, deeper stage, Soiviv Kol Almin. Soiviv Kol Almin means there is no world. There is only Hashem. So these are the first two stages of meditation on a godly idea. And this is something you have to try to do. To take time in the morning when you wake up, when you come back to your senses, when you're fully there, to think about the greatness of Hashem, that he fills the world with life. And then secondly, to realize that all that is only Mamalik Kol Almin. Hashem is much greater than all that. He is Soiviv Kol Almin. And what is the example of this? We have an example of this. In our day-to-day life, a little plastic toy called a cell phone that it operates at the speed of light. And so you can communicate with every place in the world at the same time. There's no delay because the speed of light is so great. It goes from one end of the world to the other in a split second. And it doesn't recognize walls or divisions, at least not on the simple level. If you go down into the subway or you go into a lead room, they can make a place where it's not going to work. Well, they say you'll have no reception. But in general, the cell phone indicates to you a level of life that does not recognize all the barriers and divisions that we live with. You follow me?
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah.
So that's called Soiviv Kol Almin.
That's the second one, right?
That's number 2. So I'm going to write it on the board for you. Mamale means to fill. Kol, which means all. Almin is Aramaic for the word olam, worlds. He fills the whole world with life. Okay, then we have higher than that. Soivev Kol Almin, he surrounds. Soivev means to surround. But not just to surround from the outside, through and through. There is no outside. There is no inside. There is no beginning. There is no end. So the message of Soivev is that Hashem fills the worlds with life. The message of Soivev is that there is no world. There is only Hashem. And the third level, now you're thinking on both levels at the same time, and you realize, wait a minute, there's more. There's more to think about, which is that if Hashem fills the world with life, or Hashem denies the existence of the world, there is no world. These are just two sides of the same coin. And what's that coin? That coin is called the world. Either Hashem fills the world, or Hashem is greater than the world, surrounds the world. But they're both depending on the concept of world. What was before Hashem made the world? Before there was time. Before there was any place for world at all. There was only world, only Hashem, Ein Od, Milvado. There is nothing else except for him. So this is the point of meditation. When a person was on the concept of the greatness of the Shem. Now let's take a look at it inside. Page 71, where it says, open your books, page 71, where it says 26 Kislev in the margin. Yeah, you got the place? Yeah. For when the intellect and the rational soul, the seichel and the nefesh hamaskeles, when your seichel will contemplate deeply and greatly and exceedingly in the greatness of Hashem. This is the subject, the greatness of Hashem. How he fills all worlds, that's Mamali Kol Almin. And how he surrounds all worlds, that's Soviv Kol Almin. Or how in his presence the whole of creation is nothing. It's like nothing. It didn't happen yet. Didn't happen. There's no creation. When a person will think about all these things, page 72, there is generated in his heart, in his mind, an awe before the majesty and the greatness and the immensity of Hashem. Example, go to Niagara Falls. Anybody who ever was ever at Niagara Falls? You went there?
I went.
Any other falls? They have falls in Brazil, on the border of Brazil, if you go to Brazil. They're as big as Niagara Falls. And you see the water from this river pouring over the cliff with such tremendous power and force. And you know, you don't want to be in that water. There always have been these idiots who couldn't resist and made a barrel for themselves and stuck themselves in and jumped in and went over the falls to see if they could survive. Most of them didn't. You're filled with an awe at the tremendous power right in front of you. And in your mind, you know that that water is going shooting down the cliff in channels with a big rotor at the bottom. And this rotor spins around inside a nest of wires, and that generates electricity for the whole East Coast. From Quebec to Florida. All the electricity is generated by the power of this water. It's awesome. So therefore, when a person thinks about the greatness of Hashem, he will be filled with a sense of awe, and it's, you know, you're not going to mess with that. It's very much akin to fear. You know, you can't just cozy up to that kind of power and energy. And that will be what you will, your response in your mind. In your mind and in your thought, you will have this fear of the greatness, exaltedness of Hashem. And this will cause a person to fear, it says, and to be humble before the greatness of Hashem. Migadulose Ein Sof Baruch Hu, through his infinite power and strength. And then from the mind, this feeling will go down the back of your neck, go shooting down instantaneously into your heart. And this gives you a feeling that this power is so great, you certainly want to be connected in a healthy and a safe way to this power, and not to be cut off, not to be cast away, or not to align yourself, heaven forbid, with some other fantasy that you would call God. That we would say is idol worship. You don't want to have anything to do with any false God. So his contemplation will give birth to a desire, a feeling of love, the desire to be connected to the source of energy and life. And then what happens? The Alter Rebbe describes what is the result. A person's heart begins to glow. Yislahev, his heart begins to warm up, be'ava aza, with a strong, powerful love. Kurish pe'esh, like flaming fires. V'hasheka, v'hafetza, utshuka, v'nefesh, 4 terms of love. Notice this. There are 4 different terms of love. Obviously, each one means something different to the Rebbe and experience as an experience of love in his heart. That's a very, very high level. How can we try and understand what they are? First of all, you feel a warmth. Okay, I can understand that. But hasheka is something that I want, something that I desire. Do you want to go shopping today? No, I really don't want this. I have no inclination to this. So with a hasheka, I do have a want. I want to be connected to Hashem. But chafetza means a much stronger desire. There's something, a chafetz is something I desire. Chafetz Chaim, I desire life. Chafetz Chaim, famous teacher and scholar. Person wants life. There's a story in the time a person was selling an elixir of life. Gathered a crowd around him, selling an elixir of life. Rabbi Yan, I wanted to know what was this elixir of life that he was selling. He said, the elixir of life is to do good and don't say lashon hara. Don't speak badly about anybody or anything. So that's a desire to live. It's the second stage. Utshuka is a longing to live, to experience life. When a person is in jail, heaven forbid, he yearns to be free. Soul yearning to be free, because he feels now with his constraint and his limitations. And not just he's a person and he yearns to be free, but it becomes his whole soul. When a person is restrained like this, it becomes not just an occasional yearning, like when they let the prisoners go play basketball or they go for a little walk in a low security prison, so they can forget about the fact that they're really in jail. But not the later stage, they never forget. It's his whole soul is yearning to be connected to Hashem, to the source of life. So here we have 4 stages of love that the Alter Rebbe describes. Remember, how did he get there? We start off thinking, 1, about the greatness of Hashem. 2, that as much as we think of the greatness of Hashem, it's still not Hashem. Hashem is soiving, is beyond all that. 3, that there is nothing else. There is no world even to talk about. It's not that Hashem fills the world. Hashem is greater than the world. There is no world. And when a person realizes this, then he's filled with a warmth and a desire to be connected and a strong feeling to want to be united with Hashem And even stronger than that, it becomes a total, complete yearning, the total, overwhelming yearning of his soul is only to be connected to Hashem. And that will influence everything he does. Every thought is just to be connected to Hashem. Every word is only to be connected to Hashem. Like the Rebbe said about himself one time to an interviewer, or somebody came by and said, everything has to be about Mashiach. The Rebbe says, everybody knows. The Rebbe said, everybody knows I'm crazy about Mashiach. And you see that the Rebbe constantly is focused on Hashem. Person comes and says to Rebbe, thank you, Rebbe, for your brachas. It was such a big help to us, what you did for us. And what does Rebbe say? Don't thank me, thank Hashem. There's a set response. He never takes his mind. In the Rebbe, you see clearly in everything he writes and everything he says, he never takes his mind off of Hashem. He's never out of focus. Somebody once complained to the Rebbe. He said, Rebbe, I was at your Farbrengen. I speak Yiddish. And it seemed to me you were saying the same thing over and over and over again. The Rebbe said, I only have one thing to say. What could that be, Chai? What's the one thing that the Rebbe has to say?
The president wants me to Hashem, connected to the Rebbe.
What?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
The one thing the Rebbe has to say is, we want Mashiach now.
Oh, yeah.
We want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach now. We don't want to wait. Right. All these different feelings generated by the greatness of our meditation on the greatness of Hashem, page 73. And if we stay with these feelings of love, and this becomes so much the focus of our feelings, each stage of love greater than the one before, then we get to the stage on page 73 that's called Kleis HaNefesh. What is Kleis HaNefesh? Kleis HaNefesh is when your soul is going out. Where do we see this in the Torah? You know,
Moshe.
what?
Moshe, when he went to up Sinai, his soul went up to learn.
Moshe?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
When he went on Up Sinai,
yeah.
his soul.
What?
When Moshe went up to Mount Sinai to take the two scrolls,
Yeah, he
his
went
soul
up.
went up.
No, his whole body went up, I think.
Also his soul. He was learning.
When it touched his soul or he?
No, Moshe never died.
Yeah.
No, he learned Torah.
His soul didn't leave his body. His soul remained with him the whole time.
He himself.
But we do have an example of someone who had such tremendous love of Hashem that he did die. When did that happen?
Oh.
We have to go back. After the Torah was given at Mount Sinai, the people rejoiced. And Moshe went up on Mount Sinai to get the oral law. But the Yetzer Hara worked very hard to spoil the whole project and convinced everybody that Moshe had died.
Oh.
And he even showed them an image of Moshe being taken to burial in heaven. So we can't believe, we can only believe what the Torah tells us. We can't believe what we see with our eyes. And they thought Moshe was dead, and the mixed multitude, the Egyptians who went out with them, convinced them to take upon themselves the leadership from some kind of a divine figure, which was a golden calf that was a living, breathing thing. It was living, breathing. It wasn't just a carved out idol. It was a living, breathing calf of gold. And they did idol worship. And then Moshe came down and found them and destroyed the idol, and they lost a lot of gifts and privileges that they'd had from Hashem and began a national period of mourning. They were so upset. How did this happen so quickly after Matan Torah? Anyway, they went through a lengthy period of tshuva for the next 80 days. And on Yom Kippur, they were finally forgiven. Moshe came and gave them the second set of tablets of the law. So that's how Yom Kippur became established as a day of forgiveness, a day of rejoicing. Question is, what came first? Was Yom Kippur established as a day of forgiveness? And that's why it was all worked out that Hashem forgave the Jewish people on Yom Kippur? Or is it that Hashem forgave the people of the sin of the golden calf on Yom Kippur, so Yom Kippur became established as a day of forgiveness? Which was first?
The second one?
I don't know. Maybe they're the same. They're the same thing. Two angles. Same thing. So they were very, very happy. And then Hashem told them, okay, now that we're back together again, let's build a home. And what's the home? The home is going to be the holy temple where I'm going to be together with you. Make for me a holy mikdash so I should be together with you. That's what Hashem says to the Jewish people. And they begin making it. And they finish, they're ready by Hanukkah time. From Yom Kippur to Hanukkah, they're ready to put up the Mishkan. They're ready to put up the holy sanctuary, the Mishkan. And Hashem is going to be there with them. And Hashem says, not yet. Like my wife says all the time, Rak Rega! Rak Rega! Don't wait, hold your horses. Not yet. And so they were very impatient. They wanted, like, if a husband, a husband and Kala are separated, they get back together, and the reason for the separation is nullified. They want to complete their marriage. No, Hashem said, Rak Rega, wait. And they had to wait 4 more months until Nisan in the spring, beginning of the spring. And Hashem said, okay, now you can erect the Mishkan. Oh, people were so happy. What day was that? That was the birthday of the Rebbetzin. On the birthday of the Rebbetzin. So that the first day of Nisan became the 6th day of, like the 6th day of creation. And on the first day of Nisan, Hashem said, now we're going to put up the Mishkan, and it's going to stay up for good. In other words, before that, they put it up every day and they took it down every day. Put it up every day and took it down every day, because Hashem did not come to be with them. How did he come to be with them? They brought offerings and Hashem didn't accept the offerings. How they didn't accept? Because when he accepted the offering, a fire came down from heaven and ignited the fire on the altar. And that consumed the offerings. And that fire was kept alive all the time. It was never allowed to go out. That's the eternal fire on the altar of Hashem. Well, can you imagine the happiness of the Jewish people when that happened? When that fire came out from heaven, the people could not contain their happiness. It was unbelievable, unbelievable. The rejoicing. Which was greater, Rosh Chodesh Kislev, when the Rebbe went home, the Rebbe survived his heart attack, and we got the Rebbe back, or when Hashem was reconciled with the Jewish people and they built the Mishkan? Which was greater? It's hard to say. But that, you saw Rosh Chodesh Kislev, that gives you an idea of rejoicing. The Medrash tells a story about I'm going to have to tell you the story. There's not enough time left for that whole story about how it happened. We'll have to tell you the Medrash next week. But what happened was, Aaron had 4 sons. Aaron was the younger brother of Moshe Rabbeinu. No, Aaron was the older brother of Moshe Rabbeinu, and he had 4 sons. And the two eldest sons were so happy. They took wine, they said, L'chaim, and then they went and they took incense, which is the most subtle, beautiful of all the offerings to Hashem. You know, when you bring an animal, there's ashes left over. When you bring incense, there's nothing left over. The whole thing just goes up in this fragrant, aromatic smoke as a complete and total offering to Hashem, totally consumed. So they went, they were priests, and they went and they brought this most beautiful offering to Hashem, and they took it into the Holy of Holies. And just like the fire came out and burned the offerings, the fire came out again and went like two threads of fire, went in the nostrils of these two young men, and their soul went out. And that's called Klesa Nefesh. That's what Klesa Nefesh is. That's when a person is so filled with love, that they were so filled with love of Hashem, Hashem said,
They didn't have any fear.
come back. You can't stay in this physical world. It's not what Hashem wants. Hashem wants us here in this physical world. So the same story is told about the Alter Rebbe. We're going to conclude with this today, that he was learning with the son of his Rebbe, the Maggid of Mezerich. You know them. You have the Baal Shem Tov, then you have the Maggid of Mezerich. The Maggid of Mezerich had a son called Avraham the Angel, and they were learning partners. The Alter Rebbe and the Rebbe Avraham was teaching the Alter Rebbe Hasidus, and the Alter Rebbe was teaching the Rebbe Avraham, the Malach, the angel, was teaching him Talmud.
Wow.
And they were learning Hasidus together, and their neshama went higher and higher and higher and higher through these stages of love that the Alter Rebbe describes here. And they were on the point. The Alter Rebbe said, another minute like this, and it's all over. He got up, he washed. He took a bagel and said, Hamaitzi, with smeared butter on it, and said, Hamaitzi, and sat down and ate it. And the Maggid said to him, thank you. You saved the life of my son. Because this brought him back to the physical world. Hashem wants us here in the physical world. He doesn't want us in heaven. He doesn't need our love. He's got angels to give plenty of love. He needs us here to say Hamaitzi and eat bagels. But that's what Klesa Nefesh is. It's having so much love that you're ready to expire. Like it says here on page 73, he brings 3 psukim. My soul longs for you. My soul faints for you. My soul thirsts for you. And that's the famous song. I'm sure you've heard it on the videotapes when the Rebbe suddenly bursts into song and sings, Sama lecha nafshi. My soul thirsts and yearns to be together with you, Hashem. That is Klesa HaNefesh.
Wow. Thank you.
Have a wonderful Shabbos, a great Shabbos. The Shabbos connected with the Mittler Rebbe. And Sunday is the Chag HaGeula of the Mittler Rebbe because he was imprisoned and he was liberated on this day. The 10th day of Kislev became his Yom Tov, but before the 10th came around the next year, and on his birthday, which was the 9th, his neshama returned to its maker.
Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi.